Ready, Your Honor.
Okay, we're on the record in two cases. First case is cause number 328702. Second case is cause number 328746. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Jimmy Allen Tatum. Mr. Tatum, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Tatum, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Tatum, you need to put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Tatum?
Good.
That's good. Mr. Tatum, the information in cause number 328702 alleges that on or about February 23rd of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass. Mr. Tatum, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Tatum, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Tatum, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, which is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 2 of State's Exhibit number 1, there are two sets of initials. First set of initials is on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Are these your initials?
Yes.
And on the next set of initials is on a line that reads, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in the case and so to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Is that correct?
Yes.
And these are your initials.
Yes.
On the next page, at the top above the line that says defendant, there's a signature there. That signature, is that your signature?
Yes.
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature. And is that your signature?
Yes.
And I will note for the record that both signatures have your last name first, Tatum, and then your first name, Jimmy, second. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you sign Tatum, Jimmy, is that correct?
Yes.
And also, there's one box that's checked at the top of this document. And that box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Tatum, prior to signing and initialing these documents, well, first of all, prior to signing and initialing these documents, the court read to you the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney, and you were informed that you had three options, either to one, hire an attorney, or two, if you or apply for a court-appointed attorney, or three, you could represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
You informed the court that you wanted to waive your right to an attorney and to represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then the court read you a written waiver of your right to an attorney, which is included in State's Exhibit number 1. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you have an opportunity to read the document?
Yes.
And did you read the document?
Yes.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State, you have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Tatum, the state is offering State's Exhibit number 1 to be used as evidence against you in this case. State's Exhibit number 1 is a document that have your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence against you in your case?
Yes.
No objection, State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Tatum, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
Mr. Tatum, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
For case number 328702, the state is offering 10 days jail time, credit for time served, taxing and retiring court costs. And this is to run.
Wait up. Wait up. I think it's 30 days on the agreement. It says 30 days.
That should be 328746.
746, I'm looking at it. It has 10 days credit for time served, 10 days.
Okay.
So you need to, let's go back in. I'm gonna get out of this document.
Yes, yeah, just swapped around.
And we're still on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Your Honor. Changes have been made.
Okay, go back in 702. Okay, could you repeat the state's offer in cause number 328702?
In this case, the state is offering 10 days jail time, credit for time served, taxing and retiring court costs.
Okay, Mr. Tatum, the state is offering 10 days to be served in Jefferson County Jail. You've already served 10 days in jail, therefore you won't have to serve any more time in jail on this case, and you'll be given credit for time served. If you owe any court costs, the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Tatum, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, your hand is in the way. We can't see his face. Okay. Now, Mr. Tatum, I have another case before me. This case is cause number 328746. And in this case, Mr. Tatum, the information alleges that on or about February 23rd of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of terroristic threat, family violence. Mr. Tatum, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Tatum, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you are actually guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Tatum, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials on the line that says guilty. Are these your initials?
Yes.
There is another set of initials on the line that states, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are these your initials?
Yes.
And on the next page, Mr. Tatum, there's a signature above the line that says Defendants. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And you signed Tatum Jimmy, is that correct?
Yes.
And on the next document, which is a trial court certification, of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that says defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And you've also signed Tatum Jimmy on that line as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
There's one box that's checked. This box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And prior to you signing and initialing these documents, the court explained to you that you had a right to hire an attorney, and or if you did not have enough money to hire an attorney, you may request an attorney be appointed to represent, or you may represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
After the court fully explained to you your rights regarding those three options, you informed the court that you wanted to waive your right to an attorney and to represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, prior to signing and issuing all of these documents, did you have an opportunity to read these documents?
Yes.
And did you read the documents?
Yes.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State, I have before me states exhibit number one. State, you like to offer states one?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Tatum, I have before me states exhibit number one. States exhibit one is the document that have your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. The state would like to use this document as evidence against you in this case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence against you in this case?
Yes.
The state's exhibits number one will be admitted. And Mr. Tatum, is there any evidence that you're currently mentally incompetent to stand trial in this case?
No.
Mr. Tatum, I will plead guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I'll also find that you plead guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The state is offering 30 days jail time, and this is to run concurrent with case number 328702.
Mr. Tatum, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. And Mr. Tatum, you also be required to pay court costs of $327. Mr. Tatum, would you be able to pay the court costs of $327?
No.
Okay, Mr. Tatum, are you employed?
No.
Mr. Tatum, are you married, single, divorced, widowed, or separated?
Single.
Okay. Mr. Tatum, do you receive any child support?
No.
Do you receive governmental benefits like SNAP,
No.
SSI,
No.
Medicaid,
No.
TANF?
No.
Or do you live in public housing?
No.
Do you receive any other governmental checks?
No.
Do you have any other form of income?
No.
Do you own, have any assets, like do you own a home or do you own a car?
No.
Now, Mr. Tatum, do you, are you required to pay rent?
No.
And, reside with family members?
Yeah.
And are you required to pay utilities?
No.
And, are you required to pay child support?
No.
And, do you have to pay any food expenses?
No.
You have to pay any transportation costs?
No.
And, are you required to pay any cell phone bills,
No.
probation fees,
No.
medical expenses?
No.
And, do you have to pay any, credit card payments?
No.
Okay, Mr. Tatum, the court is going to find that you are indigent. Therefore, the court costs of $327 will, excuse me, yeah, the court cost of $327 will be waived. So now, Mr. Tatum, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and fair?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Tatum, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Tatum, because this is a family violence case, in accordance with the Texas Administrative Code, Section 176.1, the court hereby admonishes you of the following. You are by entry of order or judgment ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Number two, beginning now, if you possess a firearm or ammunition, it could lead to charges against you. If you have questions about how long you will be ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, you should consult an attorney. Number two, under Texas Penal Code Section 46.01, subsection 3A, firearm means any device designed, made, or adapted to expel projectiles through a barrel by using the energy generated by an explosion or burning substance or any device readily convertible to that use. B, firearm does not include a firearm that may have been, as an integral part, a folding knife, blade, or other characteristics of weapons made illegal by Penal Code Chapter 46, and that is one, an antique firearm manufactured before 1899, or two, a replica of an antique or carry-on firearm manufactured before 1899, but only if the replica does not use rimfire or centerfire ammunition. The statutes listed below are a starting point for ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. For more information about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or for more information on how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, the court recommends you contact an attorney. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.292, Magistrate's Orders for Emergency Protection. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 42.0131, Notice for persons convicted of misdemeanors involving family violence. Penal Code Section 46.02, unlawful carrying weapons. Penal Code Section 46.04, unlawful possession of firearms. Penal Code Section 25.07, violation of certain court orders or conditions of bond in a family violence, child abuse, or neglect, sexual assault or abuse, indecent assault, stalking, or trafficking case. Family Code Section 85.026, warning on protective order. Mr. Tatum, you'll be given a copy of this admonishment by the bailiff. Please follow the bailiff. And Mr. Tatum, you have a blessed day.
You too.